Silent Hill is one of the most iconic horror franchises in gaming history, standing alongside Resident Evil as one of the pioneers of survival horror. While Resident Evil leaned into action over time, Silent Hill remained true to psychological horror, using disturbing imagery, oppressive atmosphere, and layered storytelling to unnerve players. It wasn't just about the monsters, it was about the deeply personal and horrifying journeys of its protagonists, with the town itself serving as a reflection of their fears, regrets, and sins. Yet, despite the franchise's legacy and a dedicated fan base begging for its return, Silent Hill has struggled to get a modern entry off the ground. Konami, the very company behind the series, seemed determined to bury it, leaving fans clinging to nostalgia and unofficial projects while other horror series thrived. No matter how much demand there was, Silent Hill remained in limbo until now. Welcome to the Snake Pit, where we're full of bile and venom. I'm your host, Snake Daemon, and today we're looking at the long-awaited return of Silent Hill, and the latest example of modern gaming's obsession with pandering to an audience that doesn't exist. Well, the trailer finally dropped, and I have to say I like the look of it. The game looks good. It looks creepy. It looks like Silent Hill. There's that signature unsettling atmosphere, eerie visuals, and a sense of psychological horror that's been missing from mainstream gaming for years. On the surface, it seems like they've nailed the tone and aesthetic, but then the problems start rolling in. Not from the visuals, not from the gameplay, but from the nonsense surrounding it. The biggest issue, once again, it's about catering to an audience that isn't even there. Silent Hill is a franchise aimed at horror fans. People who have played these games before and come for the creeping dread, the unsettling themes, and the mature storytelling. The fans have waited over a decade for a new entry, and yet, for some reason, modern gaming still feels the need to treat its own audience like fragile children. Why? Because Silent Hill is getting a trigger warning for things like gender discrimination. Yes, gender discrimination in a horror game, a game set in the past. A game where women were historically treated differently. A game based in a country where even today cultural differences exist that shape how men and women are perceived. But apparently that's just too much for some people. Instead of simply presenting a story as it is, we now need to put up a big flashing sign saying, "Warning, reality ahead." What makes this even more ridiculous is that Silent Hill has never shied away from difficult topics. The franchise has always tackled dark, mature, and deeply disturbing themes. Abuse, guilt, trauma, grief, psychological torment. That's literally what made it stand out from other horror games. It wasn't just about running from monsters, it was about confronting personal demons. If you can handle Pyramid Head brutally murdering people, to grotesque creatures born from a character's repressed guilt, or themes of self-harm and suicide, but gender discrimination is where you draw the line, then maybe horror games just aren't for you. And that's the real issue here. This warning isn't for Silent Hill fans, it's for the people who don't play these games, the ones who demand every piece of media cater to their fragile sensibilities despite having no real interest in it. If you don't like horror games that explore uncomfortable subjects, don't play Silent Hill. It's that simple. Eastern developers aren't obligated to rewrite their history or culture just to accommodate a Western Twitter mob that will never buy their games anyway. It's the same pattern we've seen before. Games get watered down to appeal to modern audiences, but those modern audiences don't show up. The actual fan base, the people who have supported the franchise for years, get alienated, while the industry wonders why sales are disappointing. We've seen it time and time again, and yet developers keep making the same mistake. I hope I'm wrong. I hope this game delivers on its potential and brings Silent Hill back to its former glory. But if this is the direction it's heading, then it's just another case of a classic franchise being dragged down by modern nonsense. Thanks for dropping by the Snake Pit, where we thrive on untapped potential and lost opportunities. Don't forget to subscribe and hit that bell, like the video, and leave your opinions in the comments, where naturally I won't read them. Until next time, stay venomous.